Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we are going to announce the appointment of MSI-ECS as the Philippine distributor for Commvault. If data is the new oil of this data-driven economy, it is imperative for all businesses to utilize available technologies to harness its power and value. Needless to say, the available of usable data is essential to create intelligent and guided business decisions. This morning, we will announce the appointment of MSI-ECS as the Philippine distributor of Commvault, an industry leader in the data management, particularly on data backup, recovery, and data protection. Our resource speaker will share with us the key differentiators of Commvault and what makes his appointment significant for the local ICT industry, particularly in this age where adoption of cloud technologies continue to increase and what industries can benefit from Commvault offerings. And to kickstart the discussion, it is my pleasure and honor to acknowledge the presence of our top executives. We have Rachel Ler, Commvault Area Vice President for Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Korea. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Josefa Motiwala, Commvault of Senior Director of Sales Engineering. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here.
Also from Commvault, we have Kevin Chia, Partner Business Manager. Good morning, Kevin.
Morning, everyone.
Also from Commvault, we have the Field Marketing Senior Manager, Ms. Serena Sia.
Morning.
Good morning. Of course, from MSI-ECS Philippines, Inc., we have our very own President and CEO, Sir Jimmy Go.
Hello. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir. Princess Chua, MSI-ECS Country CEO and Executive Vice President. Morning, sis. Tom Pascual, First Assistant Vice President, Technology and Product Solutions Group, MSI-ECS.
Morning, everyone. Thank you
Tom.
for attending.
Mach Franco, Group Head for Cloud, Online, and Data Center Services, MIS and IT Group. May Serrano, MSI-ECS General Manager, Commercial Technology Group. Good morning, May. Derek C. Commvault, Product Manager, MSI-ECS Philippines.
Good morning, everyone.
Once again, thank you for spending your morning with us today. It's a rainy morning here in the Philippines. To our partners, thank you for your presence and for giving us a time out of your busy schedules. And as our simple way of appreciation of your presence, all of you will be receiving this hygiene kit. Okay, yeah. There's a facial, there's a mist, and there is an alcohol as well. Okay. In addition to this simple token, we will also have some games for a chance to win the following prizes. In the past, we've been raffling off vouchers, shopping vouchers, but for today, we have a lot of gadgets to be given away. Starting off with a Realme power bank. We also have a Realme band. We have a Realme smartwatch and a Realme Buds Air. And let me direct your attention to this corporate video of Commvault, as this will provide us a glimpse of how Commvault is changing the landscape of data availability. Video roll, please.
So your data environment is looking a bit complex. Multiple solutions for multiple use cases, a growing number of applications, and a data management plan that's more improvised than strategized. How'd this happen? It started with an ever-growing need to protect data. At first, maybe in a physical server or a storage array, or 3 or 4. Then virtualization became the new norm. But data kept growing, and so did your storage costs. So you adopted deduplication, probably as a purpose-built appliance. Then, hyperconverged infrastructures promise simple scaling. Suddenly, you have different products for each use case, each with its own backup solution. And we haven't even touched on the cloud, Office 365, Salesforce, or SaaS. Well, that escalated quickly. Now, Let's show an easier data journey. You choose a single backup, recovery, and data management solution. It protects your applications and data, no matter where it's stored. Physical, virtual, hyper-converged, cloud, big data. It even plays nicely with container platforms, one tool that fits wherever your data takes you, or wherever you take your data. This leads to operational efficiencies, lower costs, reduced complexity and risk, and data that's ready for anything. So you can focus on using it and your mind to do amazing things.
At this point, to formally announce our appointment, allow me to introduce Rachel Ler, Commvault Area Vice President for Southeast Asia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Korea. Rachel is responsible for driving sustainable sales, collaborating and strengthening Commvault's broad and diverse partner ecosystem across these distinct markets. With a 19-year proven track record spanning direct and channel sales, including regional APJ leadership roles at several multinational companies, she is based in Singapore, leading a team of passionate and highly experienced data experts who help companies move, manage, protect, and use its data. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Rachel.
Thank you, Sama. Thank you very much for this partnership. And to all the people out in the Philippines, good morning. Right, I'm passionate about Philippines. Some of you might know in the track record that I have, I was part of the Nimble Storage team, and part of it when I head over to HPE as well. And I spent quite a significant amount of time in the Philippines with our partners and our customers. And I'm excited today to be able to do this with VST-ECS, a long-standing partner that I have in the past, and to launch Commvault in the Philippines. So I want to, take this time to welcome everybody who is on the call. And I also want to have, to share with you our thoughts, Commvault's thoughts around why we're focusing on the Philippines market, and why when I first started at Commvault 7 months ago, my mission was to go out there and make sure that we open up the Philippines market, as we see the huge potential in there. So if you take a look, distribution partners has been a very critical layer of Commvault strategy. It helps us strengthen our partner ecosystem, all right, and really expand our customers base. So today, with all the partners that's on this launch, I want to welcome you. I want to thank you for taking time this morning to be here. And I know that you'll be part of our ecosystem to help us expand our reach into the Philippines market. And I think that I sincerely thank all of you for taking time. Josefa is going to share a lot on the technology front of it. Please take time. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And I'm also very pleased that in this morning, we have VST-ECS partnering with us. They are the leading ICT solution providers in the Philippines, really help customers store, protect, optimize, and use their data more than ever. Right, the first time we are appointing a sole distributor in the Philippines as part of Commvault's Simplify, Innovate, and Execute strategy. And we hope that over the course of time, a lot of the partners out in the Philippines join us into this ride, gain access to a one-stop shop, a technical expertise that we bring to you with an end-to-end support that VST-ECS is going to be able to support you in the market. We already have a very strong telco and financial services customer base in the Philippines. And I certainly look forward to expand those installed base and to be able to share a lot of our goodness on how we protect data and how do we provide intelligence to our customers in regards to their data set, right? And we think that with this partnership, we're going to be able to expand at the exponential rate in the Philippines, as we see that, in the time like this with the pandemic, customers are looking at ways to protect their data, especially with remote workers. And Josefa will share a lot about where our views are in this pandemic world and how customers see data moving forward, right? And as we go into a new norm means lots of Zoom calls, lots of data that's been created remotely everywhere. And how do we make sure that organizations have a good grips of those data and make sure that they make informed decisions based on those data that are being generated. At Commvault, we're constantly seeking new ways to support our partner, right? Available to all solution provider and partner. Distribution partner is our award-winning Partner Advantage program. I encourage all of you as our partner out there to sign up to be our partner and get access to the Partner Advantage program that we have built over the last couple of years to make sure that we're providing information out there to our partners and distribution and ready to engage with them daily, all right, with customer requirements and making sure that we enhance the overall experience on our route to market with you. We're also committed to deepen the engagement in this market. Our sales marketing team will be working very closely with all of you in terms of our go-to-market program to drive a sustainable growth for all of us. I'm also pleased to announce that, we've now decided that we'll invest headcounts into the Philippines as Commvault, and we're excited that this will bring extra engagement out at the field level and bringing the subject matter experts at the ground level, engaging with our partners out there in the Philippines, together with VST-ECS as a very integral part of our partnership. I look forward for a long-term success partnership with ECS and with all of you out there in the Philippines. And I know that it is going to be a very meaningful ride for all of us. And thank you for being future ready with Commvault. I look forward in speaking with all of you soon, and take care and stay safe. Over to you, Mao. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel, for the trust and confidence. At this point, allow me to call on the President and CEO of VST-ECS, Sir Jimmy Go, for the acceptance and executive address.
Good morning and welcome to the VST-ECS Commvault partnership launch here in the Philippines. Well, first of all, I would like to thank Rachel and the whole team of Commvault for appointing VST-ECS as the sole distributor for the Commvault data management solution. Okay, I've known Rachel for a very long time, and I know that Rachel is very, very aggressive. Okay, I partner with her with Nimble, and I saw how aggressive she is, and she'll make sure that Commvault shall be very successful here in the Philippines. Okay. So again, thank you again, Rachel, and the whole team of Commvault for appointing VST-ECS. So today, we're announcing the partnership between Commvault and VST-ECS. And as probably we know, during this pandemic and during this crisis, there's still the data explosion, okay? And everybody wants to accelerate the digital transformation. Okay, so everybody needs a very stable data management solution. Commvault is the company that is able to provide intelligent data management solution for any infrastructure, for the new infrastructure. So I hope that all of you, all of our partners would be able to help us to be able to provide this kind of solutions to all our end users and Philippine market. Okay. On the part of VST-ECS, we are going to invest on headcounts. We have a dedicated product manager, dedicated sales team, and of course, a dedicated support team. We want to make sure that Commvault will be successful in the Philippines. And since Commvault itself is going to be very, very aggressive here in the Philippines. Again, thank you very much for joining us in this Commvault partnership launch. And I hope that we can really work together to grow the business here in the Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Jimmy. And thank you once again, Commvault, for the trust and confidence. Truly, data is very important. In fact, it is now considered as the no oil or the no gold. At this point, our speaker will give us an executive brief on how Commvault works in the real world. Partners, we will also run a game after this. So please, if I may, ask you to kindly listen to his presentation attentively. Our speaker is Josefa Motiwala, the Senior Director for Sales Engineering, Commvault India. Josefa spearheads technical sales engagement from strategy to execution for customers across the country and EPJ Partner Success Desk team. Having spent more than 2 decades in the technology industry, He is passionate about the impact of disruptive technologies on businesses, especially around data and how to drive efficiencies using an intelligent data management approach. Josefa, please go ahead and proceed with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Actually, an honor and a privilege to be in front of all of you, present this data management story. It's indeed exciting and very, very disruptive times right now, as far as, not only in terms of our general world, but also in terms of businesses. And my endeavor is, as a Commvault representative, is to get you excited in terms of why this disruption, where is the market going, right? What's the impact in terms of the IT initiatives that the customers are coming back, especially in these times? What are the challenges that they're facing, and how Commvault comes in and addresses those and help you understand that value prop that we deliver. So without any further ado, let me just jumpstart in terms of the change in market trend, right? And this is one single slide which will just help you break down the entire last 6-8 months dilemma or the exercise that our customers' businesses went through, right? Because as a partner, we need to put ourselves in their shoes in order for us to put in the right narrative and the right solution, right? We need to understand their pain points. So let's divide this into pre-COVID and post-COVID, correct? In terms of what the market trends were earlier and how it is right now. Earlier, it was all about our customers' belief was obviously in terms of enhancing the customer experience, right? So it was all very much driven down into the physical world. But in the new norm, everything, right, is boiling down to how do you deliver the same kind of experience over the digital channel. I'll give you one example. There is a large bank here. I'm based in India, right? One of the largest bank here is developing, and they were so used to this last mile customer to customer interaction with people walking into the branch office, now going completely digital, with the personal bankers giving that experience to somebody on the other hand who's probably not technology savvy. So how do you ensure that the customer's trust continues, right, for our customers when they go out? So boosting customer trust is number one. Number two, earlier it was all about for our customers, their employee collaboration and learning was one of the key charter, right? So there used to be effort spent on that because you were all confined to that one office, one data center, and trying to collaborate is now completely ripped apart. And now you need to drive, and our customers are facing the same dilemma of driving the same productivity with each one of us, their employees sitting remotely, right? So that's the challenge that they're up onto. Product innovation was always on the forte. Don't get me wrong, it's not stopped. But what we are seeing as a trend in the market is our customers, they are going back to their core businesses, right? Focusing on their core and trying to automate that piece. A case in point, if I can just throw, is Airbnb, right? It started with this whole belief of giving the local experience. So you go into a country, stay with the locals there. And it started diversifying into, getting into the areas in terms of hospitality and hotels. But they kind of took a stop when this hit us. And they're coming back to that core and trying to automate and fortify their staying experience. Earlier, it was about increasing profitability and shareholder value. That remains, but what is now absolute boardroom conversation. I have no qualms about it because I have spoken to people who sit in very reputed boards, that data security or data protection is one of the key criteria sitting out there being discussed in our customers' boardroom, right? So profitability, shareholder value is one, but reputation and stuff is right out there. The number fifth thing is business continuity, right? Yes, all our customers had all the business continuity tools and stuff in, or thoughts in place. Where I think they fell, and that's what we experienced, is none of them had tried mock testing it. None of them had a very foolproof test plan or a standard operating procedure when it came to business continuity and DR. And this pandemic kind of shook everything. So I'm sure all of you would have heard Satya Nadella's quote, right? 2 years of digital transformation just happened in 2 months, right? That's the reality our customers are living in. And if you look at the underlying thing, there are very, very key areas coming out, key themes which are coming out as far as the IT and data management is concerned. for our customers. And I'll put it down into three things. Number one, our customers are coming back to us and says, yes, we are under severe bottom line pressure. Can you help us come and reduce cost and help improve the efficiency of my team, right? Because I want to contribute back to the business, our IT want to contribute back to the business and increase profitability, number one. Number two, can you help us get our data more secured and accessible so that when we go out to our customers and employees, their trust and protection remains, right? And the number three ask, and this is, I don't think this should come as a surprise, but the amount of adoption which has happened from a cloud perspective has, in the last 6 to 8 months is phenomenal. We have seen figures coming out in 200 to 300% growth, but the critical thing here, it's not just one cloud provider or one platform. What is the keyword here is multi-cloud, hybrid cloud. Not all our customers are not, every customers, almost every 84% of them are looking at putting their eggs in multiple basket, right? So multi-cloud is the reality, correct? So customers are coming back to us saying, hey, help us take this journey and adopt cloud, adopt multi-cloud without losing on the business agility and outcome, right? So three very critical things, very, very critical things coming out, make no mistake, as far as the IT data management initiatives: cost reduction, data security, accessibility, and migration to cloud adoption. But there is always a but, right? Where are the customers facing? What's the challenge? Correct. And I would again urge, as Mao said, please listen to this carefully because it's going to be beneficial to you at the end of it, right? I'm just throwing some things. Three set of challenges that the customers are facing. Number one is the unstructured data. And Rachel touched on it, right? In terms of the data growth, you saw in the Commvault video. I'm going to throw some stats. It's self-explanatory, but what is scary is this unstructured data. 55% of it in your environment is dark data, which means you have the organization has zero visibility in terms of, hey, what that data is, why is it lying there? Is it copies and copies of production data? Is it required for business? Very, very hard-hitting question. And these data is not all the data created is the same, right? And I've thrown in this example. In the good old days, you would have very roughly two sets of data: structured data and unstructured data, right? Databases and rest of the data. Now that structured data is relegated to one corner. Unstructured data, because of your SaaS applications, your rich media, your VMs, your containers, this is growing at the rate of leaps and bounds, right? So not only is the volume growing, the variety of that data is growing, and the velocity, right? If I have to compound this problem and you put yourself in the customer's place, this data is no longer being confined or generated to one location or one system, right? It's no longer in that secure data center of old where this data growth is happening. It's all over the place. And to add to it, it's just not human which is generating data. Now you have things like IoTs and stuff. So devices are generating data as well. So that compounds the problem for our customers. Number two is, while this data is growing and it's complex and it's variety, there are people going after this data, right? Bad people, and the threat vectors have increased. And who are those potential threat actors? You'll be surprised. The first thing when somebody says threats to data, the first thing which comes to mind is your hackers and exploiters, right? External. But you'll be surprised to know majority of them also can come from internal, threats. So internal employees, which could be malicious or non-maliciously intended. If it's maliciously intended, you end up doing a lot more damage than anybody external would have helped done it. What are they going after? They're going after those personally identifiable information. They're trying to steal your credit card details, your bank account details, your social security number, come in stealthily, steal and go out and sell it in the underground market. I'm sure you all would know that the underground market for this dark data is bigger than the international drug trade. I'm not kidding. What are they doing? They're going, if it's a malicious insider or something, they're also going for data deletion, right? Whether accidentally or, as I said, maliciously. They're trying to corrupt this data, right? So it becomes unusable, and it could be espionage. There are state-sponsored guys going after each other to do this. And last but not the least, the king of all, ransomware. right? Is the easiest thing, is the trending thing right now, because all an attacker needs to go is get in, encrypt that data, and he doesn't even need to sell it in the outside market. You just pay them off because you have no option. Why you have no option? Because you have not done a thorough job of keeping a good, clean copy of that data somewhere, an immutable copy, which can help our customers come back faster, right? So these are very hard-hitting reason, and please understand that this attack vector, especially the ransomware thing, in the last 6 months, we have seen some 200% increase. I've even, and I'm not kidding, I've also seen ransomware as a service, right? There are people out there where you can hire for you to go and attack or target somebody, right? It could be your competition, it could be your adversary, you know what. So very, very different threats to this data. And the final thing, as I said, it's the hybrid world. So adoption of cloud, multi-cloud platform is a reality. And what are the challenges here? Three things. How do I take my data to cloud? Which is that correct data? Is it required by business? Is it required by compliance to be on-prem, or can it go to cloud, right? So data sovereignty, data criticality, compliance, complexity associated taking to cloud is something which is hitting our customers. Multi-cloud is a reality, as I said, because each cloud, hyperscaler cloud vendor, whether it's the AWS, Microsoft, Google's of the world, Oracle, doesn't matter, they each bring in their own set of advantages for a particular kind of workload, correct? So AWS maybe is really, really good from infrastructure as a service. Google is really, really good in the containerization, microservices. Think, in terms of Azure, which is very, very good in terms of your enterprise services. So you as a customer, our customers are in a constant dilemma in terms of how do I ensure from which platform to go for and how seamlessly I go there, but how do I manage this data across these multiple clouds? I mean, believe me, there is no single pane of view or glass for them to view this entire thing, and help them migrate this workload across these different formats, right? Because they are each proprietary format from each of these cloud vendors. So you absolutely have no visibility. Our customers are struggling with multiple tools and visibility. And finally, SaaS, a mother of all. Very interestingly, if you go and ask our customers, let's say O365, so what happens to your, mailbox and data protection? I said, yeah, I don't have to worry because Microsoft takes care of it. No, sir. In their website, they themselves share, and there's a documented thing which you can share with your customers. It's a shared responsibility. Data is a shared responsibility, which means they are responsible for the infrastructure and service availability. Data is yours. So you need to take care of all the right things to ensure that your data is protected, is secured, and available, right? Very, very hard-hitting facts. So what's the answer? We say, personally, we would like to, and Rachel very, very briefly alluded to this, we like to bucket this into 4 areas or 4 foundation pillars: store, protect, optimize, and use. And I'm going to cover each one of them in a single slide, each slide. But the important thing is we are calling it as not just data management, but we are calling it as intelligent data management. Why? Because this is where our patented AI ML thing comes in and gets in a lot of visibility in terms of what that data is. So data awareness, get that data across multiple platforms, right? So help you with this portability, so data agility, and help you automate a lot of these tasks to help save time from an operational perspective in driving a lot of automation using AI and ML. So that's the reason it's called an intelligent data management, right? With a lot of awareness going into about that data. It's all about the data, right? So let's touch each one of them. Store efficiently, right? Let's touch the first pillar. And I'm going to give you an analogy because that will help you understand this better. I have a music system, an amplifier in my bedroom, and it's a 5.1 channel, and this is the remote, right? I fine tune it to the last mile because I'm an audiophile. I need the right sound. A lot of time, a lot of effort, but I have passion. I do it and stuff. Here's my dad in his living room. He has a sound bar, and this is his remote. The output is almost the same, right? Does he worry about fine tuning it and spend hours and hours of time? No. Why should it be any different from your storage environment? Your storage, primary and secondary storage, is exactly going through the same stuff, and our customers are going through this pain. So software defined storage is the first pillar, is the first thing that Commvault brings to the table. I'm sure you would have heard about our acquisition of a company called Hedwig that brings in this capability. And what's the problem it's trying to solve? Number one, break down these storage silos. Our customers are inundated by this data fragmentation. They've got a separate storage capability for their physical servers, for their virtual environment, for their hyperscale environment. Now talk about cloud, it's all over the place. So no longer they're just throwing that tons and tons of hard storage data, each for its own silos. It's not going to work, right? So you need a software defined approach to break that down. And not just limited that to one type of workload, but the software defined storage, especially something which Hedwig brings to the table, is absolutely well suited to the kind of workload that you put in, whether it's in terms of virtual, whether in terms of containers, bare metal, multi-cloud, doesn't matter. Each one has its own set of storage and performance and security and availability requirement. This software defined storage tunes up for that. So can you imagine the flexibility? You're just agnosting the whole underlying hardware from the overlying application, right? And all the fine tuning happens at that software layer, and you get the same resiliency, same availability of that enterprise storage. The biggest use case here, I would put it is two things. I would strongly request you guys to look at it. Secondary data, backup data is a huge element. It grows by leaps and bounds, right? Because copies and copies of data. So we have tightly integrated this with Commvault, our own backup solution, and together I think that's a killer combination to break that secondary data silos down. And the number two thing is the containerization, right? So the adoption of Kubernetes and containerization, that requires a storage which needs to be very, very agile and secure, and that's what it delivers. The last, the same needs to share across and give you that multi-location capability, whether in prem or also on cloud. Whether you deploy in hyperscaler, let's say you go from on-prem and AWS infra, this software-defined solution can scale across both the enterprise and give you one unified common layer. So very, very advantageous. Number two, protect. This is probably the bread and butter for a lot of us. You would have heard the first thing when somebody hears Commvault is, which comes is backup. Rightly so, but why we are different? Again, let me throw in this analogy. In the good old days, each one of these devices used to give separate outcomes to us, right? It still does. Your calendarization, news, maps, music. What has happened? A consolidation of hardware and software into one platform. You no longer need all of these separate devices. You're saving on cost, time, efficiency, everything. Apply this to your customer's environment. His data could be generated on any kind of platform. Is it physical, virtual, cloud, hyper-converged, OpenStack, endpoint, doesn't matter, right? For all their data management needs, which includes data protection, data archiving, replication, compliance, everything, they have currently approached or used or thrown in different set of tools, which comes with its own hardware, which comes with its own administrative skills requirement. Imagine the kind of ways that you go in. What is required is one unified comprehensive solution, one platform, one set of index, and one set of infrastructure to take care of the entire data management needs, irrespective of what that data is and where is it lying. Very, very strong proposition, right? This is probably by far the single biggest differentiator that we bring into the market, right? It's a platform story at the end of the day. Why should our customers suffer on the complexity on the vendor's side, right? All it needs is the outcome. The other advantage of this, and as I said, one platform, one unified pane of glass, one policy, one index. The biggest advantage in today's time comes is when you have one platform for your secondary data and all your data management needs, you can secure that platform far, far better, right? And that's a straight winner when it comes to cybersecurity or ransomware protection for our customers. We not only do foundational hardening of this platform at the NIST standard, we apply the AAA methodology. So authenticate, authorize, and accountable. Authenticate who you are, authorize only to do specific set of action, and everything is audited and accountable on our platform, right? So that's a huge thing for our customers. And ransomware, very, very advanced level of ML-based protection. So once you enable this on Commvault, it continuously monitors for any file level anomaly. So we are not a security software. We are not replacing those. But all we are trying to do is, can we put in enough mechanism to ensure you always have one good immutable copy to kind of recover yourself from, right? And the final thing is air gapping. And I'm glad this came up, and on these lines, Commvault has launched a cloud storage, right, across available. This is a wonderful thing because the customers at the comfort of their premise can keep one non-immutable copy in our cloud storage, so that in case of a ransomware attack, if something happens to entire production data, including backup, you have one copy to go and restore back to. Very, very powerful. And that's why we make our customers recovery ready. Third thing is optimize. My grandfather's ambassador car in the 70s, I wanted to turn this into a smart car. I attach a iPad, it shows me maps, plays music. Do you think now this is a smart car? The answer is no. Why? Because it's not integrated. There are, a smart car has a complete integration of sensors and gives you real-time analytics and data. Think similarly in terms of cloud. As our customers are getting into this cloud journey, your solution, the customer, which they're probably using from an in-prem perspective, needs to have the same solution, has to have a very seamless way of taking that first step towards cloud without requiring any third-party hardware or software vendor. Nothing. Out of the box, Commvault can help our customers adopt top 10, 15 cloud hyperscaler cloud partners seamlessly using us, right? And not just ending there. So fast cloud data migration in terms of what data is important, why, and take you there. But think SaaS. All the popular SaaS platforms, the SaaS data, Commvault connects, not only connects, integrates with them, but helps you not only keep a non-immutable copy, but also gives you things like flexible recovery, single mailbox recovery, granular recovery, long-term retention. Very, very powerful things from a SaaS perspective. DR. You will hear a little more when I say DR. We have launched a standalone disaster recovery product, which means your workloads on-prem or cloud, you can take across, move this data across on-prem to target cloud or between this hyperscaler cloud at a touch of a button, and it comes in with all the right kind of automation, orchestration, leaving you to focus on your core and not worry about what happens when disaster strikes, right? Very, very powerful. To platform as a service, right? So all the PaaS database out there, they are also protected. And once you're done all of these, can you use that for further things like DevOps, right? Secure DevOps, very, very popular use cases in cloud. Obviously, this platform will also help you get integrated into that journey and give you those copies from dev to production and this continuous CI/CD, right? Very, very powerful. Finally, use. This is where the icing is on the cake. So, you would have seen, and before I go there again, and last, I promise this will be my last analogy. You're going out camping, right? Imagine the number of tools that you need, right? Let's say you're going one night camping with your family. Would you be able to create an inventory, collect these different tools, or would you prefer something like this? Correct. One multi-tool, very powerful approach. This is where Commvault brings to the table. So you've heard the store, protect, and optimize, right? So we help store the data, protect that data, migrate or optimize it by migrating to cloud, optimizing the cloud, optimizing the unstructured data for you. But we not only stops there, we can also do information governance for you, which means all that data which we have collected, we can run indexes on that, content index that data, which makes it extremely powerful. Why? Because we can analyze what that data is, help you visualize it, and help our customers act on it. Let me step back and give an example. I'm sure you would have heard about GDPR, for example, right? The Europe compliance laws. It states that the personally identifiable information of a customer of any businesses can only be stored for so and so period and after the 60-day period needs to be deleted across all resources, and you need to prove it. So Commvault can help analyze across not just the backup data, but live data, figure out where this sensitive data is lying, visualize it for you, show it where those sensitive data pockets are, how long they've been living there, and not only stop there, but if you have, let's say, Commvault data protection and some of the other stuff, it can also help you move that data to longer retention or delete the data based on what that compliance needs. It's across workload, right? So very, very powerful information governance thing, and which also comes as a part of this. So I've heard, I've given you the store, protect, optimize, use analogy. Very quickly, the last two critical section, why Commvault and why the customer should look at us. Number one, we have the credibility. We are not upstart. We are not somebody who has just started our shops recently. We have some very, very, very strong credibility. Technology, it's a technology company. 812 active patents is by far double than the nearest competition, right? So it's a very technology first approach. We can scale. Look at the amount of data that we are already managing for our customers. There is one, our biggest customer in the cloud is some little known company called Microsoft, and all their Xbox customer data, right, which is close to some, reaching now close to 200 to 300 petabyte, is all protected by Commvault. So we can scale. And what matters to our customers is, end of the day, whatever protection I'm driving, I'll be able to recover and restore that data, right, when my business needs it. Now look at the backup success rate, right? 98%, very, very critical for all of us. And because of this scale, technology, the the success rate, the industry leaders, analysts have always put us on the top. So you pick up anyone like Gartner, the Forresters of the world. Gartner, we are 9 times leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant leader, and this doesn't come easy, guys. And you need to really sweat it out in terms of your roadmap, feature functionality, and execution. Right, it all comes together. So how is the portfolio panned out? This is an interesting slide. It's divided into 6 product areas for us. 6, I'm repeating. Starting with the Hedwig, which is the software-defined storage, the company that we acquired recently. I think it was last year, October. That is helping the store part. Remember the store part? So you can apply that to primary or secondary storage and break down those silos. Backup and recovery is our bread and butter, right? We've always been known. So across any workloads, you can drive that. We've also launched the standalone disaster recovery product. So this combined can give you backup and DR, or if the customer has a standalone backup solution existing and he's just interested in DR automation for certain kind of workload, you can absolutely use us, right? So store is done, protect is done, disaster recovery and file server optimization together gives you the optimized part of it, the third pillar. File storage optimization is basically unstructured data. How do you take control? How do you drive visibility for that unstructured data? Who owns that data? Where is it lying? Is it duplicate? All that kind of optimization is driven by file storage optimization. And the last 2 pillars, data governance, which is the sensitive data governance, and e-discovery, right? Think about e-discovery as, typically, let's say, for example, a pharma customer would have a lot of patents protection and lawsuit litigation, which their legal team comes back to IT. I'm just giving you one use case, right? One industry. So we help the IT guys to kind of turn that around, find quickly where that information is, and produce it in the court of law and make it non-immutable, right? Put it in a secured environment so it can't be tampered with. All of these, and here's the best part, all of these use cases across any kind of workload that our customer's business chooses to. We are not going to come and restrict them that, hey, don't choose this platform because I don't support it. Don't use this kind of outcomes or database or application because we don't have a support yet from and we won't be able to protect, store, or optimize for you. No, let them choose the best of breed to run their business. We will ensure that we drive this data management service. And all of these, the icing on the cake, all of these can be consumed in 3 ways: as a software, as a turnkey appliance, which we call as Hyperscale X, or as a or as a SaaS platform, backup as a service, which we call it as Metallic. And it's slowly launching in, it's in there in US and Canada and ANZ, and it's slowly proliferating across all part of the world. So very exciting times, driving this data management services, these certain outcomes. End of the day, my last slide, what does it mean for the customer? Our customer doesn't care whether I'm a Gartner Magic Quadrant leader or whether I have one platform and all four. What matters to them, can you come in and help me simplify? Which means, can you come in and reduce my operational and capital expenditure around this data management? Absolutely, right? Because you're consolidating all your data management things. You're applying things like global deduplication and compression and so on, straight savings and simplification of that. Risk mitigation. Can you help me decrease my or improve my SLA, decrease my RPO, RTO, increase my business uptime? Absolutely, right? And ensure that things are up and running even in case of, let's say, ransomware protection. Absolutely, we can do that. Can you help improve my productivity? As I said, one platform, you and a lot of automation going. Why should your customer staff spend time on that? And they should rather concentrate on their core business application and leave the data management activity to the platform. Absolutely. Time to value. Can I take and adopt new workloads, right? Things like Kubernetes, containerization. Will it immediately help me to launch new businesses and services while you take care of data management? Absolutely, yes. So business value in terms of simplification, risk mitigation, productivity, and time to value is enormous. And that's what we bring to the table for the customers. So thank you. I know it was very, very brief, but I just wanted to come in, give you a perspective of what the customers are facing through the new initiatives around their world, which is changing. What are they coming and asking us? What are the challenges? Remember those 3 challenges that they're going through, and how Commvault can help in terms of store, protect, optimize, and use as a foundation pillar and drive that outcomes. So thank you, and I hand over back for any questions.
Thank you, Josefa. While the spotlight is on you, allow me to throw in the following questions. We have several questions, actually.
Sure.
The first question is there a ransomware protection capability, or are there ransomware protection capabilities? If Commvault detects a malware, can it automatically block or delete those malwares?
Very, very, very good question. So I'll divide it into 2 parts. One is the detection, and then is the protect. We do have file level anomaly features, AIML features in our product, which means we can detect that something shady is happening. I'll give you an example how. We keep a very small, innocuous looking honeypot file in our systems, in your client systems, which had no business, anybody has no business touching it. If somebody touches that file, which means there is an anomaly, we understand that there is something hanky-panky going on. So we detect it. Can we block that ransomware? No, we are not a security company. That's the job of your security solution. But what thing we can do, most importantly, is once we detect that, we disconnect the last known good backup copy from that server, which means even if that backup server or production server is compromised, or at least backup server, you are assured to have a good known last copy to go back and fall back to, rather than paying ransom to your ransomware attackers. So we detect and we detach, so that air gapping, all of that comes into the picture. No, we are not a security company to kind of block that. We do file level anomaly, right? So we ensure that damage is restricted to just that OS thing, which honestly serves no purpose to the ransomware thing. Because if you've taken his most critical leverage point, which is what? Hey, I don't care if you've encrypted, I have a last known good copy, so go to hell. Because believe me, paying ransom is not the solution. Did it answer your question?
Thank you, sir. We have another question. Why do we need to use ransomware if my backup data is encrypted already?
Very good. So even if it is encrypted, there are levels of things. So what happens is the ransomware comes in. Let's say you're done, we're doing encryption at the job level, at the file level, right? Any backup software would look at that. ransomware guys come, it's like, I'll drive this analogy, and I think it will be much easier. Let's say I have some valuables in my house. I have some jewelry, I have some cash, and I kept it in a safe in my cupboard. And I've applied lock, and I ensure that my jewelry and cash is all secured. But what if somebody comes and locks the house? Right? You just can't enter to get access to your jewelry or your cash, right? So ransomware works at a very different high level actually, and tries to encrypt or log the data at the OS level, at the systems level. So that's where you need to be very agile and have that protection across multiple levels. So encrypted backup, yes, but then you also need to take care that your house is also protected, and if something happens on that level, you have something to protect.
Thank you. Can Commvault migrate data coming from other backup solutions?
We have process and terminologies to do that. So depending on that, on the existing platform, we can work with our customers on a each individual basis to figure out what that platform is, how old is that data, what's the retention period, where is that data, and then we can work it out. So answer is yes.
All right. Thank you. We have another, actually, we are getting a lot of questions.
Good.
Do you have an OPEX model or back end as a service offering?
We do have an OPEX model, 100% for sure. Subscription, in fact, is the preferred way we would prefer. Backend as a service, I didn't get that question, but if the questioner can elaborate that, I can probably answer that better.
All right. Sir, if you could please, Sir Percy, if you could please elaborate further on your question. We have another question. Can we do data recovery per file data?
Absolutely. And that's where solutions like us play a very critical role, which is called granular recovery. So whether it's per file, per mailbox, individual VMs, file within those VMs, cloud, doesn't matter, that or databases, right? Granular recovery is one of the key things that a solution brings to the table. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Sorry, my bad. The question earlier actually, do you have OPEX model or backup as a service offering?
Yes. We do. We do backup as a service. There are two ways you can do it. We partner with some large service providers and ensure that our product is seamlessly integrated into their multi-tenant environment, and together our service provider then takes it as a service to the market. Or we also have our own option, which I alluded to earlier, right? Metallic, which has been launched in certain geographies, which is also backup as a service. So yes,
Okay.
we are
Thank
invested
you.
in that.
Do you support or does Commvault support IS 400?
Yes, we do. We are probably only one of those few vendors who do that, and the AS400 guys just love it.
Okay. We have another question. Do I need to buy a backup solution if I already purchased Commvault?
No, we are the backup solution.
Okay,
Don't
all
need
right.
to look at anything else.
Okay. We have another question. How are the capabilities of the new Commvault disaster recovery product different from what's in Commvault Complete Backup and Recovery today?
Very good question. So disaster recovery to me has two parts. One is, how do I ensure that my data by some ways and means is there on the secondary site, right? And depending on the RPO, RTO. So I could go from as low as sub-minute to 15 minutes to an hour. So there has to be some mechanism which takes the data from your production to your DR, number one. And the number two part, which is very critical, is the automation part of it, the failover, failback, single click failover, starting those workloads on the target. All of these, which are very workflow integrated things, these are now coming up as the standalone thing for us. And that's the key difference between the earlier backup and recovery. So the earlier product suite had the data technology part of it, live syncs and stuff, which means it could take the data from one place to another. But now we have added a lot of those automation failover, failback functionalities to kind of add value. Excuse me. So that's why a lot of focus, and that's why there's different charter towards disaster recovery as a solution.
Right. We have a very specific question here. I think this question is being experienced by one of his customers. My end user has a very complex environment, on-prem and between public and private cloud. What should we take note of for backup and recovery in an implementation of hybrid cloud journey?
Great, excellent. And believe me, you're not alone. The bulk of our customers are on the same cusp. I have this legacy applications or things lying in my data center. I'm contemplating cloud and not just one, multi. And this classic hyper or hybrid cloud is a challenge. What you need to take care of is have a solution which understands both the on-prem thing and the new age workload, cloud native workload, or the migrated workload that you're going to bring up in your cloud. And see, this is very important. People miss out this point. People go with the new and shiny things because the new and shiny vendors come and talk a lot in terms of, hey, I'm the cloud native, I can do beautiful things. But market like us, India, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, we are not going to just drop everything and jump on the cloud, right? We need to take care of our existing stuff and also take one step behind and one step ahead in terms of the new age architecture. You need a platform which balances both, which understands the old, understands the new, and also has a way of taking from or migrating or shifting this workload from the old to new, right? So that is extremely important. Number two, the thing which our customers faces today is when they're adopting cloud, any hyperscaler cloud, the general belief is, that cloud provider has the native solution, the snapshots of the world, and I'm good enough. That's not good enough, guys. That native solution has zero, we just discussed granular recovery capabilities. That native solution is not ransomware aware. That native solution will not give you, capabilities of migrating from that. Tomorrow, that customer decides that AWS is probably acting too costly, and I need to move things to GCP. We can take you there. So the platform needs to be those multi-workload compatible. I understand AWS, I understand Google Cloud, I'll help you move across those things as well. So very, very critical things which gets lost in the finer print, but I'm glad you asked this question.
Thank you. How does Commvault help the data reduction in terms of migration to address bandwidth cost concern?
Good. So we do a lot of compression and deduplication right at the source, right? Whether it's at the client side or when so I'm assuming here the question is on-prem to cloud or on-prem to DR, right? And that's where the network comes in. We drive a lot of efficiencies in terms of deduplication compression right at the source. So we only, once your initial data replication is done, the first, let's put it this way, the first backup, that itself is deduplicated and compressed, by the way, right? So once that is done, and we also thrive on the network throttling and network level compression over there. But assuming that is done, the next full backup, we are just, after deduplication and compression, you'll be surprised. We probably are just sending 2 to 5% of data. And that's really a huge benefit because you're not going to send the whole thing across the wire. You're just changing this change blocks. And the guy at the other hand understands the intelligence that, hey, these are the ones only change. And even with those changes, you can reconstruct the whole data at the DR. So really, really powerful, really, really bandwidth optimized solution.
All right, thank you. We have two similar questions actually. Can Commvault back up Azure Stack VMs and data inside VMs? We have a similar question from Kichi. Can Commvault replicate VM in different hypervisors like VMware or Hyper-V or vice versa?
So shortest answer is yes to all.
All right. Thank
But
you.
if you
Thank
want,
you.
I can elaborate.
All right. Thank you. Rachel, feel free to add in case you would like to elaborate further. We have another question. Can I repurpose my data recovery data for anything other than just recovery?
Zephyr, go ahead.
Yeah. So absolutely. And I think Rachel alluded to this at her start of her address. This data is very, very powerful, right? This secondary data or the copy of the data, let's not just let it lie there like an insurance policy, right? Which is only fruitful once you expire, right? No. We have that data. Multiple use cases can come in. Can I use it for DevOps? Can I use it for QA? Can I use it to drive additional insights into my data analytics, right? Because it's secondary data lying there. Things like sensitive data governance, things like can I run my search and e-discovery and understand what that data pattern is, who holds. And so this secondary data is definitely not lying idle. There are further things that you can drive on these, including, if I may add, instant recovery. Gone are the days in the data management world where you have to do something called as restore, right? People want instant gratification. We are living in the era of smartphones. A copy there, something happens to production. Can I bring up that data from my backup copy and give it back to my business for a short term, right? While I sort out the primary copy. So all of these are different use cases of that secondary data.
Thank you, sir. We will address 3 more questions as we still have several presentations coming up. We have one question. Is there a feature that we can back up the physical machine as bare metal and restore to dissimilar hardware?
Yes, absolutely. A bare metal restore or bare metal recovery, BMR is what we call it. And absolutely you could do it across dissimilar systems. And we take at the OS system state and help you recover it in the dissimilar hardware.
All right. I think there's another question. I'm not sure if you have already addressed this earlier. Beside ransomware protection capability, how about zero-day attack? Is Commvault can Commvault detect the attack?
Yeah. So one is the ransomware detection. The zero-day thing comes in by I talked about something called as file level anomaly, right? So A and B. Remember, I said something called as AAA hardening, that we bring in, the application hardening. Authentication, you are whom you claim to be. So anybody who's logged into our system, right, believe it the malware or be it anything, we first authenticate, and then you are only authorized to access those components that you are supposed to. And finally, everything is audited.
In case you have questions on how to start your Commvault business with VST-ECS, feel free to liaise with our team. We have Derek and May, who heads our commercial technology group 2 for clarification and assistance. But before I call on May Serrano, our general manager for commercial technology group 2, to do the closing remarks, bilis ng oras, to do the closing remarks, partners, give us a minute as we will try to promote your status to panelists so that you'd be able to activate your video. I would love to have a group photo at the end of before we do May's closing remarks. I'd like to see your faces. It's been a while na hindi tayo nagkikita-kita, and hopefully through Zoom makita natin kung sino yung pumayat, kung sino yung tumaba. Okay, so partners, if you could please activate your video while my team is working on promoting all of you to panelist status. Make sure to wear your pinakamagandang smile. Give us your most beautiful smile. As we will be posting this again on our YouTube channel and Facebook and LinkedIn social media platforms. Again, partners, in case you would like to share this launch to any of your staff who weren't able to attend today's activity, we'll be sending you the link so that you can share it to the rest of your organization. Okay, so at this point, I'd like to ask everyone to smile as we will do a group photo. All right. Thank you, everyone. Maraming salamat. At this point, allow me to call on our General Manager for Commercial Technology Group 2, May Serrano, for the closing remarks. May?
Thank you, Sir Mao. So, hello everyone. Good morning. I am May Serrano and I help manage one of the business units here in VST-ECS. So, please allow me to thank you once again for gracing us with your presence today. So, as inferred during the discussions earlier, our industry has always been filled with disruptive technology trends that shape how people and businesses prepare and grasp future opportunities. So the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and its subset, machine learning, are just a few examples of these trends that have been adapted by our customers in order to differentiate themselves in the use of data in gaining business insights and promoting efficiency. So data indeed has increasingly become a foundation of refining processes, advancing business strategies, and creating new streams of revenue. Thus, it is crucial for business to ensure that data is protected, secured, and is available when it is needed. So, as consultants and business partners to your valued end customers, we know that you have but the highest standards in choosing a brand for data management. So, why choose Commvault? Because Commvault is a complete management platform that provides backup and recovery solution in a cost-effective way by securing data on-prem, in the cloud, and across hybrid environment in this day and age when businesses have complex IT infrastructure. So as we expand the brand's reach across the territory and across industries, we are excited to work with you in hunting and closing market opportunities. So let us all work together in growing the Commvault business in the country. And before, I give the floor back to our very eloquent host, please allow me to take this opportunity also to thank our principal, Commvault, headed by Ms. Rachel Ler, for the trust, confidence, and partnership. I would like to thank also our President and CEO, Mr. Jimmy Go, and our EVP and CEO, Ms. Princess Chua, for the strong support on the brand and the solutions that it can cater to the Philippine market. And of course, I would like to say a big thanks. Maraming salamat to our Assistant Vice President for Marketing and Communications, Sir Maurice Altar, and the rest of the Marcom team for sharing your expertise in making sure that we are able to execute a very informative as well as a very interactive product launch. So partners, thank you very much. See you again online in the series of sales and technical enablement that we have scheduled after this launch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, May. You can always count on our support. It's been a pleasure hosting this event, and I am glad to work once again with Rachel. Again, partners, on behalf of VST-ECS, Commvault, maraming salamat for joining us this morning. Feel free to reach out to our VST-ECS Commvault team for any questions. Once again, maraming salamat everyone. Stay safe and hoping to see you all early next year probably. All right. Stay safe everyone. Maraming salamat. This is Ms. Altar. Thank you.
Partners.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.